I lived in France for a while. I moved to France when I was 5, and then my parents went back and forth to France and Colombia, so we go to France quite a bit. My brother still lives, my parents and brother still live there. My brother was born there, so he's a real Frenchie. And yeah, so anyways, I go there more than I go to Colombia. We spent a month there a couple of years ago. I came to America to play baseball. I was the rebel in the family. I didn't want to stay in France or Colombia. I wanted to come to America and do something different. My dad being a lawyer, my mom being a psychoanalyst, not a psychoanalyst. I wanted to do something completely different, become a doctor or a baseball player here. A real doctor, not a chiropractor. Oh, come on. Uh-oh. Okay. I came to America. I was a lousy baseball player at Ave Maria, almost as bad as Chris was at basketball. But if people ask us, we always say we're all Americans. I met this cutie, the one that says filter, not the other one. That's me. And somehow I tricked her into marrying me. Not only I got to be with her, but I also got my citizenship. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you. We're real guys. I love America, not because of, the guns and the stuff that you guys always talk about, but because it really is the land of opportunity. I came here with 2 plans, big aspirations, and they didn't work out. I felt like a loser when I graduated because all I could do was being a very overeducated waiter. And that was it. And, that wasn't the aspiration I had when I came here. I remember sitting down with my wife. We were saying like, okay, well, while we figured this out, let's rent this place. We rented a place. And about a year in, we had enough money to pay for the full year of rent. So we called the landlord. We were very proud of ourselves. We're like, hey, we want to pay you for the full year if you give us a little discount. And he said, funny thing that you called me because actually we're selling the place and you need to get out in 45 days. Crushed, right? I'll tell you what. I don't know how, but we were able with my wife being a teacher, which they don't make a lot of money, and me being a server, we were able to buy a house. In 35 days, I signed a bunch of papers. We were able to buy a house. I didn't know what I signed, and we were able to buy a house with about $15,000 out of pocket. That opened up my mind to a lot of possibilities because if I didn't know what I was doing, man, what if I really understood what I was signing and how the rules of this game works? And this is all it is, right? With financial advising, with everything, with taxes. If you understand the game that you're playing, you can really be successful here. So I dove into being a mortgage lender, and that's why I do what I do. I don't play baseball anymore, but I am a softball dad. Both of my daughters play softball. Viviana being the best one in the family. You know what the difference between you know what a softball dad is? It's the same thing as a baseball dad with bigger balls. Right. These are my girls. This is what I do, everything I do. So, okay, let's jump into mortgages. All right, so look, I'm a certified mortgage advisor. We have a CMPS registration, which means that we know a little bit more than the competition. Everybody in my team does that. We're top 1% originators. We know what we do. Lately, we've been diving in big time into AI, so there's a lot of interviews on AI. I'm super passionate about that. But what do we do is residential mortgages, meaning we do everything that has to do with you living in the property or somebody living in the property. You want to buy an apartment building? We can do that. You want to buy an office space? You want to buy a clinic? I cannot do that. Okay, so anything that somebody's going to live in, we can do. Fourplexes, duplexes, whatever. We are a bank, but we also can broker out deals. So if, for example, we need to do one of those weird deals that I talk about, no income and things like that, we can broker them out and we can look at other lenders to see who's going to have the better rate. We have in-house processing and underwriting, which means that we control the process from beginning to end. And if we're going to sell it to Chase or whatever, we sell it afterwards, okay? We are licensed in every single state. So if you want to buy somewhere else, let me know because I can help with that. Like I said, top lender, whatever. We do weird loans as well. So no income loans, down payment assistance loans, anything that you can think of, come to us first. Let us set up the plan for you as opposed to you assuming that you can't do the loan or that you cannot buy a house. We believe in no borrower left behind. We have good rates. We have good programs. We close on time and we answer the phone. And most importantly, if you do a purchase or a refinance with us, we're going to change your life. This was Frank. before he transacted with us, and this is Frank afterwards, right? All right. I want to go over our process real quick. We have a 5-step process, very, very simple. We do a discovery call every single time, a pre-purchase consultation, an offer call, a contract call, and then the post-closing call. If we do a good job, you're going to want to keep buying houses with us. The discovery call. What we need to do in the discovery call is understand where you're at and what you want and understand past experiences. I need to know if I'm dealing with a drug dealer, with a first-time home buyer, or with somebody that needs a reverse mortgage, right? It's going to be a different approach depending on who I'm working with. Then we go to the pre-purchase consultation. The pre-purchase consultation, we go over a lot of things that we are not taught. Look, I have one office building. I have 4 houses. Every time I get under contract, I get nervous. So I go through this process. A lot of people don't understand how taxes work, how property taxes work, for example. The house that I'm buying, it's an investment property. It has a $1,400 a year tax bill right now. So when I get my mortgage, I'm going to pay my payment based on that $1,400 a year. What's going to happen next year? Those taxes are going to go up to $6,000. So if I don't know that that's going to happen, I'm in trouble, because then in a year from now, I'm going to get hit with a payment that's not only $300 more a month, but because they have to make up for the amount that they haven't been collecting, it's going to be $400, $500, $600 more a month. That's okay if you know that it's coming, but it's important that you know that it's coming. And in the mortgage industry and in real estate, a lot of realtors and lenders don't even know that this is a thing here in Florida. It's important. The other way around is important too. If I buy a primary residence, I can take my homestead with me. I can take my Save My Homes with me. That's going to save you a ton of money on taxes. We go over that pre-purchase consultation. We also go over the buy-down strategy. Buy-down strategy is what we're using right now in this buyer's market. What's a buy-down strategy? There's 2 types of buy-downs, a permanent buy-down and a temporary buy-down. If you want to learn anything, this is super important. $359,000 purchase price is going to have a $2,200 payment. If we do a $20,000 price reduction, that same house is going to go down in payment by only $109. What we're telling our clients to do is, hey, give the seller the same $359,000, but ask them for seller concessions. This is how we want you to structure the offer. If we do that, we can lower the rate to 5.25%, and that's going to lower your payment by $373 a month. This is the equivalent payment as if you drop the price by almost $70,000. Look, the decision to buy a house is a financial decision. You cannot make an offer just because you feel like the house should be $20,000 less, or you feel like it's about the payment. It's about what your investment is. We go over things like that. We also are able now with Better Home Loans, we're also able to do a better paid buy down, where we are paying for a 1% buy down for the first year. So if your rate will be 6.625, we drop it to 5.625 for the first year. No prepayment penalty. You can always refinance. We also have better construction rates, not construction loans, but construction rates, because we partner with a lot of construction companies that offer a better rate if they go with us. And we do a full TBD approval, meaning we can close in 2 weeks without, and you can put a full price offer that's no contingent, like a cash offer. All right. With us as well, in the pre-purchase consultation, we go over how we can save you money on title. We are the only company that's allowed to do what's called an attorney opinion letter instead of title. In the state of Florida, in Collier County, the buyer picks the title, the buyer pays for the title. Normally on a house that's $500,000, it's $2,400. We can save you a lot of money. It's only going to be $895 if we go with the attorney opinion letter. So something that we can only do with us. All right. The offer call. We do the same thing. You want to look at a bunch of houses. Send us the address of those houses for us to be able to give you those numbers. Not only what the payment is going to be today, but what the payment is going to be in the future. Super important before you choose which house you want. Don't choose based on the paint. Choose based on the numbers of the house. All right. On the contract call, we go over what's happening, when the closing is, and all these things. And then on the post-closing call, we talk about when we can do a no-cost refi. We're able to do a no-cost refi now with Better, because with Better Home Loans, we don't have to charge any title fees on the refi. We're the only lender in America that's allowed to do that, because Fannie and Freddie gives a pass on title fees. So we're able to do a real no-cost refi. Okay. On the post-closing call too. Listen, my team is going to call you. She's going to talk about what are the tax-deductible items on your closing. She's going to talk about the homestead exemption. She's going to help you set up your first payment. We're going to set up your strike rate, meaning at what point we're going to refinance you for free for that to make sense for you. And we send you a monthly report that gives you an idea of what the house is worth and gives you an idea of what's happening in the neighborhood from a macro standpoint. Give me a second. Okay, my best referrals are agents. Look, when it comes to agents, we do a lot of things. We do co-branded gifts and all that. They don't care about that. The biggest thing that we do for agents is we receive about 10 applications every single day. 46% of those applications don't have agents. So we hand out a lot of leads and a lot of contracts to agents. 2025. In 2025, we closed 21 buyers that we've referred to agents. Now, not all the buyers that we get are in this area. So the easiest way for you to refer me to an agent is to say, hey, we have a lender that, yeah, he's fantastic, blah, 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 but he actually needs people that can close their leads. Because the fact is, Better doesn't charge me for those leads, but I have to have a higher closing rate than their people in their call center. So I need agents that can close those leads all over the state. So that's it. Mortgages.